right, guys, time for another Primetime Kitchen here on Real Radio 104.1. You know the deal. This show is dedicated to living, loving, and learning about all things delicious. I am Jim Colbert.
I'm Heather McPherson.
And today we have actually a very interesting story. This actually was a national story. I guess we have up a little bit later today.
Yeah, we do. We have somebody in from Florida Dairy Farmers. Actually, Farmer Ed is here. And people may remember a viral video that went off everywhere in the world. And Ed found that his cows responded to jazz music, which he actually plays. And, where are you going to practice your trombone? But
especially the bougie-ass cows.
So I think it's pretty cool.
Who only want to listen to jazz.
Yeah. Happy cows give great milk.
That's what I hear, right? It's great.
I don't know. I just made up that slogan.
So we're going to be talking about that and just dairy farming in general, which I find fascinating. And
absolutely. It's a great part of Florida's ag history. And, we are down to, Volusia County is the last Central Florida dairy farm, but they are all over the state.
Right.
And Ed, I think this is going to be a really interesting conversation. I can't wait for you to meet. We've had farmers in here before. Oh, yeah. But we've never had a dairy farmer.
We haven't. It's also awesome because everybody gets saddled. Florida's gets saddled with only being a citrus grower, maybe cabbage and stuff like that. We have a lot of crops in the state, and I think it's really cool that we have a massive dairy and beef and pork farming industry here as well.
It is impressive. It's a $1 billion business that fuels Florida's economy, and it also really fuels its environment.
Cool.
So many farmers are doing best practices for the land, and so many dairy farmers. Larson Dairy down near Okeechobee, others as well. There's a lot of cooperatives out there. What we refer to as the milk district. I know there are some youngins who don't understand that there are actually cows grazing there.
I've been hammered there.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been hammered by that cow place. I know what you're talking about, dude. We'll play darts or something. Hey, guys, welcome back to Primetime Kitchen here on Real Radio, the show dedicated to living, loving, and learning about all things delicious. I'm Jim Colbert.
I'm Heather McPherson.
And we have a very special guest, Farmer Ed, but his name is actually Ed Henderson. He's the owner of Shenandoah Dairy up in Live Oak. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Oh, it's good to be here.
Well, thanks for driving down, coming out of this long way. Did you drive all the way here from Live Oak? I hope you didn't.
I drove the whole way.
Well, we were supposed to have Farmer Ed on right before the hurricane.
Right.
And you needed to take care of the cows.
Oh, absolutely.
So we bumped this a little bit, and we really appreciate you doing what you needed to do at that time. What happens to animals? Don't animals instinctively know about a storm before we do?
Well, cows are very, very curious animals, but there's some habitual things that go on with cattle that we don't really understand. So in a storm, cows, like in the rain, they'll face their rear end towards the rain. They'll stand away from it. In the wind, they'll seek some shelter and so forth. In the hurricane kind of a thing, now, our cows in a hurricane, our cows are actually all in a barn.
Uh-huh.
Right? So they were very, very protected. The hurricane didn't get to us.
Yes, we were really lucky.
We were way east of the storm, but had some friends that were very dramatically affected by the storm. We went out there, and their cows survived. They had a tree fall on a few cows and some animals that didn't make it, but by and large, their cows survived the storm.
That's great.
How many head are we talking on your farm up there that you have to kind of move around when situations like that happen?
Well, we're currently milking about 4,000 cows.
Wow. Whoa.
Well, it's all in a
Is
day's
that
work.
typical? Is that a typical farm in Florida?
I mean, it's pretty typical for us today.
You have more cows than the people in the town I'm from.
He's from Palatka.
You understand.
They feel right at home.
Right. A few cows up there too, brother. You know what I'm saying? Been at Walmart?
Absolutely.
Jim.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Behave.
No, but there's 4,000 cows. In addition to that, there's about another 3,500 or 3,600 head of young stock that we're raising up. They eventually become members of the mature milking herd once they have their first calf. So there's a little over 7,000 cows on the farm there right now.
So how long have you been in this business?
I've been in it all my life.
Is this something your family has done for many years?
Absolutely. I'm multi-generational. My parents were
this.
originally from Ohio. All right, and my mom moved to Florida, and my dad followed her. And
smart man.
So they moved. I was born and raised down around Bradenton, and we had a dairy farm there. And then from Bradenton, we moved up to Live Oak in 1987. started a family business there. I'm in business with my brothers, my father.
Oh, that's great.
How many acres you guys have up there?
Currently, it's pushing about 3,000 acres.
Is that common to have a certain amount of space per cow? Is that an equation that you're cognizant of? Could you overcrowd 3,000, 4,000 acres of land with cows?
Oh, well, yes and no.
Yeah.
All right. So our cows are really on about 40 acres.
Oh, wow.
All right, the milking herd, the 4,000
Right.
milking cows. So they're in barns where we have a controlled environment. These cows,
They're living the life.
yeah, they rarely see 80 degrees.
Wow.
All right, it's a controlled environment. So these cows go in these barns, and we bring them everything. So out on the fields, we take all the manure,
Yeah.
all right, and we take it out there and we use it as fertilizer to grow crops. In these crops, we harvest the crops back and we bring it back to feed the cows. And it's called a nutrient balance. So we're not polluting anything. It makes us good stewards of the land.
Oh, that's so cool.
Which we were talking a little bit before the break, right before you guys came on. That's a big aspect of farming in general that I find fascinating. But with you and hearing, as we were watching this video, which we'll tell you about in a few seconds, I mean, you kind of mentioned this in the video, that you're stewards of the land. And then just watching you kind of look at your cattle there, you can kind of tell there's a genuine respect that you have for these animals.
Oh, without question. I mean, they're they're like family out there.
Yes.
But our whole lives revolve around these cows. All right. Backing up just a step, we started with 100 cows in 1987. All right, and my brothers and I, we did everything. We built the fence, fed the cows, milked the cows, and then we added some additional cows. And it was 160 acres when we started in '87. So it's progressed, and we've been able to. We're very, very fortunate, very blessed. Our operation's grown, and we were able to employ some really good people come out there. And so now it's not just our family, but it's 100 families.
That is
out there
great.
So it's like a cooperative out there with you guys?
Well, no. It's a business just like any
Right.
other business.
Yeah.
But these cows provide for
Right.
100
Right.
families. They provide for everybody.
I was going to say you're not just feeding the world or feeding people, but you're also employing them as well
Oh, absolutely.
to keep
Absolutely.
so driving the economy. So
Ed
tell me,
Henderson.
I want to know because a lot of people don't. Jim, guess what kind of cows Florida milk comes from?
I'm going to say the Elsie kind.
Absolutely.
Am I close?
That's right. And,
Am I
and
close?
she would typically she's the chocolate one, right?
That's right.
My favorite. You know.
What kind of cows do you have in your farm?
We have primarily Holsteins. They're
Okay.
the black and white ones.
Okay.
But we've got a smattering of the other breeds in there. So there's some Jerseys, and the Jerseys are smaller cow. They're, 2/3 the size of a Holstein cow, and they have a much higher density of fat in their milk. So it has a more full
Creamy
full
taste.
taste.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't
absolutely.
even know that the breed of cow would affect the taste of the
Oh,
milk
absolutely.
as well.
And the golden Guernseys?
Yeah.
There are not many golden Guernseys, but their milk is not actually very white. It's more golden in color.
Seriously.
Right,
And is it
absolutely.
creamier and makes you have that more of that butter fat?
Yeah,
naturally.
way
taste?
more than Holsteins do.
Wow.
Now, do you guys? I mean, like I know that people who make wine, they take and they blend to make sure that there's all. Do you guys? Is there a blend of milk to get to a certain kind of milk? And how does that whole thing
No.
work? And do you guys produce
Okay,
milk for a
so-
number of packagers? Or?
No, all of our milk goes to Dean Foods in Orlando.
Okay.
All
yes,
right.
yes.
So, and we produce we milk Holsteins. Holsteins produce the largest quantity of milk.
Okay.
And so there's an opportunity for us to take these cows and try and make our systems as efficient as possible, and we're looking for as much milk as we can out of a single cow. But if I was making ice cream, all right, I may want a Jersey cow because
Right.
it has a higher level of fat, all right, and it adds a creamier type product, all right. So to that respect, why breed makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, food makes a big difference as well, right? What you feed these animals can produce a different kind of milk, or is that not true?
Well, to some extent. So our cows, we feed them a well-balanced diet. We hire a nutritionist. She has a PhD
These
in
cows
nutrition.
are living the
My
life.
God. For the record, I'm just going to let you know.
I don't have a nutritionist.
Farmer
And
Ed Henderson is in studio with us from Shenandoah Dairy up in Live Oak, and I will tell you, I did not treat my children this good.
Well,
And you're paying for it
Straight
today.
up, I did not treat my kids this good.
you were looking for a certain level of productivity out
I
of it.
was not, apparently. I wanted them to get out. That's all I know. If I don't feed them, they'll leave. They'll go find food somewhere like a feral cat.
Oh, no, so we want our cows to come back, and we bring our cows into the parlor 3 times a day. All the cows are milked 3 times
And
a day.
that parlor is the place where you milk them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so the diet on these cows affects their level of milk production. The more fiber we feed the cows, the higher the fat level will be on the cows, be in the milk. So we try and balance the rations for these cows to achieve a certain level of milk production, and absolutely looking for a health level in the cows. So if you just feed the cows, all grain, well, you'll make them sick. All right, we don't want to do that.
No.
All right, heck no. So we come out there. I'm allowed to say heck?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Wait, if I don't say enough curse words in the show, I edit some in when we're done.
So we're always looking to try and get this balanced ration to the cows to achieve the highest level of health to the cows, and certainly trying to achieve a high level of productivity out of it.
And that just comes over years and years of making sure you have the right blend of food going to the cows, and not only are they healthy, they're also giving you a great product as well.
Oh, absolutely. You see,
It must be
we've learned-
expensive, man.
Well,
It must be. Look, I'm sitting here doing the math. I'm like, man, this has got to be expensive. Your cows have massage therapists, and they have brain toys and all these things, and then have people come talk to them to while they go to sleep when they feel comfortable. I mean, it's got.
And he does exaggerate.
It's got to be super expensive,
well, I mean, we're not doing this for free,
right?
And we are looking for a state of happy cow around our place. All right, happy cow
That's
is
so cool.
it is the deal. And happy cows make more milk, and so it's just a reflection of how well we take care of our animals, is to try and achieve a higher level of productivity. We wouldn't want to do anything to produce less.
Yeah, I don't want to make this seem like a cow's a machine, so please don't take it that way. But what is the average productivity for a milking cow? Is it from the age of 2 until 10, what is that window for you guys?
All right, so the calves are born on the farm, and we raise all the heifer calves, and we start breeding those heifers at about 13 months of age. So they'll have their first calf when they're 22 to 24 months of age. When they have the first calf, they enter the milking herd. And then those cows will stay productive in the milking herd for about 3 years, all right, as the average mature age in the milking herd. So 3 lactations are about 5 years old is the average. Now, with that being said, we had a cow that lived up to 14 years old, and a number of years ago, and I sold her to a neighbor because he just wanted a kind of a pet, and but
That was a happy cow.
she was a very happy cow, and she exceeded. She was the grandma of grandmas out there.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
That's so cool, man. So now what? I don't. Again, I try to be hypersensitive to this because I don't know, and I don't want to ask a question that's upsetting. But after a cow's milking life, and it's not the matriarch of the field there. What happens to that cow after its milking life?
Well, the cows that leave the farm, typically they're going to McDonald's.
Oh, they're going to slaughter.
Yep, they are.
And that's just the normal. That's the normal.
That's the normal.
Okay, good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have to ask because.
Yeah.
Well, no, and absolutely.
cattle.
So
Right, yeah.
So the hamburger is the fast food restaurants. That is a staple of where that meat comes from. It's in it's dairy cows.
I'll be damned. I would have never in a million years known that.
Another little local trivia. You mentioned Dean Foods. Dean actually bought TG Lee Dairy, and we were talking before in the previous segment about the Milk District in downtown Orlando,
Yeah.
where cows once roamed.
Right. You can still
It is
see.
not just cows once roamed right there.
You can actually find pictures online of
Yes.
that area and look at the just the
That
views
was
of
way
Orlando.
outside the city.
Oh, so it goes beyond that. My relatives that migrated down from Ohio, all right, they originally migrated down to Pinellas County, and so they had dairies in Clearwater and St. Pete, and before they moved on down to Bradenton, Manatee County.
Wow,
That's crazy.
This milk really is in your veins at this point.
Oh, without question, I paid my way through college milking cows. I tell people,
Love it.
I tell people I just don't know any better. This is all I've ever done.
All right, so we said we would talk about these bougie cows. We're going to do this. Ed Henderson is here. You know him as Farmer Ed from Shenandoah Dairy up in Live Oak. We're going to talk about this viral video of Ed in a field playing his beloved trombone that he played since he was in, quote, elementary school, and watching these cows freak out and come from every nook and cranny of these fields to hang out and listen to this music. We're going to find out how valuable that is to not only the cows, but to Ed. We'll do that next on Primetime Kitchen. Hey guys, welcome back to Primetime Kitchen here on Real Radio 104.1, the show dedicated to living, loving, and learning about all things delicious. I'm Jim Colbert.
I'm Heather McPherson, and that is a trombone first for Primetime Kitchen. I love it. The band is the Maniacal Four, right?
Oh, yes. Maniacal Four, they're a group of trombone players, and I just love them. They make my kind of music.
Thank you so much. I love this.
Doing a cover, by the way, let me add this, a sweet-ass cover of Carry On, My Wayward Son by Kansas. In with us today is Farmer Ed Henderson, owner of Shenandoah Dairy up in Live Oak. But you've been all over the state. Thanks for coming by. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, by the way, I'm one of the owners, okay? I have two brothers and my father in the business.
Oh, got to keep the family,
Yeah, I don't want anybody.
I don't want to drama.
There goes Ed. He's a star on the radio.
We don't want no Kardashian drama up on the farm. Big thanks to Wassey's Meats for bringing us to the show. We really do appreciate your sponsorship, guys. Of course, the largest big green egg dealer in the entire world resides right there in Little Melbourne, Florida. In the way of Wassey's Meats, Frank and Jan have been running that store for 35 years and killing it. And if you want anything that is big green egg, whether it be the biggest size, the smallest size, all the accessories, always in stock, not to mention the wall of flavor. Every rub and marinade you could possibly imagine for all your proteins waiting for you right now. It's Wassey's Meats online, WASSIS.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm Jim. There's Heather.
Hey.
And like I said, Farmer Ed is in, and he's some very interesting things about this milk industry we're learning now. And, of course, we were talking earlier about this video that you made with your trombone. And is the story behind that true, that that you were being... like you got ran out of your own house?
Yeah. Well,
tell us the story of how you started introducing your cows to jazz.
I think at some point all trombone players get kicked out, right? But no, I was standing outside, and just playing the horn, with the dog howling, and the cats running, but the cows just come.
You're a menace.
But the cows come running up to the fence, and they just stood there, and they're really curious. All right, they're just really, really curious, and the music was,
they seem to enjoy it, right?
Oh, absolutely. They just stood around and kind of listened to it, and I thought, well, that was pretty cool.
So, this video, which we're going to show at ptkradio.com as well, how did that all come about? Because it is beautifully, beautifully done.
It is, really.
I mean, everyone needs to watch this.
There's like boom shots, there's like chopper shots.
It is the best salute to Florida dairy farmers ever. No offense to my other Florida dairy farmer friends, but...
Well, no, it was just Brian from Florida Dairy Farmers, and we were talking about doing something as far as promotion and something different. And I said, oh, I play in a jazz band, all right? This would be really different, all right? And the group of guys that we play with, it's just, we're out to have a good time.
Sure.
We're not,
right.
It's just fun. This is my hobby. I don't play golf, all right? But I play in this jazz band every week. And so we said, we'll give this thing a try. And we sat out in the middle of a cow pasture and set the band up and played for the cows, and lo and behold, the cows came running. It was
I love it. Everyone is going to love it when they see it up at PTK Radio this week on the website.
Cows are so adorable. I wish they didn't taste so good. Because I feel bad about it a little bit, but not that bad. But, they are so damn adorable. In a couple of these shots, they put that fisheye in this. They're up there snorting around your horn, trying to find out what's going on. And you're like, oh, look at you.
Oh, absolutely. They'll come up there, and if you're still for a while, all right, if you're kind of still for a while, they get really curious, and they'll start smelling, because they have a really incredible sense of smell. They have a really incredible sense of hearing. And they'll lick they'll stick their tongue out, and they'll lick your horn. Or when we were making the video with the band, there's a couple of videos there. One was with the band. And with the band, one of the heifers kept coming around and stealing the drummer's drumsticks.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was just that kind of curious.
Oh, that's so funny. Did you still do it?
I still play in the band.
No, do you ever just wander out in the field and do it and play for the cows anymore?
Well, I do get kicked out of the house periodically.
Answer yes. All right, very good. So let's talk about some numbers when it comes to dairy in Florida. I know that people always think, like we were talking about earlier, citrus, but we know for a fact that the dairy and cows and cattle have been around for a very long time in Florida. What kind of volume are we talking producing out of your farm up there in Live Oak, like in gallons and just the industry in general in Florida?
Well, so on our farm, we're milking 4,000 cows, and we're producing about 10 gallons of milk a day.
Wow.
All right, and
Per cow?
Per cow.
Per cow.
All right?
Wow, that's a
per
lot.
cow. So
That's
we
a
milk them all
lot.
3 times a day, 365 days a year. We milk them. We don't miss a beat. But across the state, there's about 100 dairy farms left. They're producing about 300 million gallons of milk.
Damn!
That is a lot. A lot of it. Yeah.
Well, it is, but it's not enough in the summertime. All right, cows are very seasonal. They like cool weather. All right,
They do.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Well, these black and white cows, they were the Holstein cows.
Mm-hmm.
They originated in Norwegian country. All right? They like it cold.
It's in their DNA. They like it. Like it a little.
Wow.
And so we do all of our efforts in the summertime. Trying to keep these cows cool, and we spend a lot of effort.
That's a lot of money and energy in the state of Florida trying to keep cows cool.
Oh, absolutely. So the production, because the cows like it cool, they're less productive in the summertime. All right,
Oh,
and so
okay.
there is milk from around the United States that is shipped into Florida to just supply the needs of the Florida consumer.
Wow.
That is unbelievable. Now, when does that start? When does that swoon start? Is it like right when it gets like 85, and does it last until like November, to like right now when it starts to kind of cool down a little bit? Or how long is that little weird kind of lapse of time where the cows kind of, and what kind of drop in production are we talking? 20%?
Yeah, at least. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different farms have different swings in milk production, so everybody manages a little bit differently. I know on our farm, we work really, really hard to try and alleviate the swings. So we'll see about a 15% swing. Sometimes
Damn.
we've done a little bit better, but
That's a lot. I mean, when you're talking 300 million gallons of milk, 15% is a lot of milk. I mean, if I was good at math.
And you're not.
But I'm going to leave that up to Heather. We're going to edit this in. Hey, what would be like? You're out there listening. Everybody in Florida is driven by a cow field and seeing the Holsteins, hell up in Ocala and Eustis and up there in Altoona in that area. I know for a while there was a dairy farm that ran out there. I don't think it's there anymore, but you always drive by and you kind of get an idea what you think. What is the most surprising thing about dairy farming that most people won't realize? I mean, outside of the cool cow thing and everything like that, I mean, what is one of the more unique things that you guys have encountered while doing this?
one of the most unique things that we have encountered while dairy farming.
Yeah, just in general learning about this business that people would think, no way, I can't believe that.
Well, one thing that I mentioned in one of the videos there is my dad said it matters how we take care of cows from day one. All right, so where we take care of the baby calves, handle them with care, make sure we got the right nutrition, the whole 9 yards. Dad's like, it's important from day one. And now, so I learned about that some 45 years ago. All right, and now the research out there is saying these calves that are fed well, all right, they've achieved really high rates of nutrition, high growth rates, all right. Their productivity when they enter the milking herd is heads and tails above the other animals.
Wow, just because of a positive environment when they were growing up. No different than a kid that any human would raise.
Absolutely. So it really does make a difference. And now the research is there to back it up. Dad knew all along.
Yep. Well, I have to ask you a question. I mean, and you're going to laugh at this question. Okay. Are you whole milk, 2% fat-free skim?
Oh, I'm whole milk.
Whole milk all the way.
I mean,
is that like the most? Most farmers, probably are.
Oh, I think if a dairy farmer was out there drinking 2%, he wouldn't tell anybody.
I'm about to ask her to leave just for saying it with you in the room. I feel bad. I apologize for her behavior.
Well, on the other side of the coin, it's no secret that I often develop recipes for Florida dairy farmers, and so I try to use the spectrum for people in their special diet needs. But
that spectrum better be fatty.
But most of the farmers that I talk to are whole milk farmers.
It is about flavor.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
It is about flavor, and
Right.
the difference between 2% and whole milk
Huge.
is not a lot of fat, but it's a huge amount of flavor.
Oh, yeah.
And when you really want a creamy sauce or something like that, I mean, you need that. So we try to talk a lot about proportion.
And the nutrition's out there is talking about the fat, how necessary it is in the diet, and that filling portion of drinking whole milk. All right, it leaves you less hungry. So the people that are, and I'm not a nutritionist, but I can tell you my personal experience is that drinking whole milk, it has a filling sensation, so you eat less.
I have a question for you. You're multi-generation. Do you have a generation coming up?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Very
Do they?
much so.
And
That's a good
and all of
question.
them are really excited to go on and keep on the tradition.
Are they receptive?
That's great to hear.
Well, yes. And my son, I have two sons, and one is very interested in the dairy business, and I'm just super ecstatic that he wants to come out and do this thing and make a living out of it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
All right, dairy farming is.
What's your morning? I mean, it's like 3, 4.
Oh, no. When the farm's yours, you don't wake up at 4.
Yeah, well, it can be. Our cows are milked 24 hours a day.
Okay.
All right, and so on our farm, there's 3 8-hour shifts, and it really never stops. And so I can get that call in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But my mornings start early just by choice.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something to do on a dairy farm, you don't have to wait till morning to find it.
There's an interesting dichotomy in the idea of how well you guys treat these cows, considering like when you look at the machinery that is a milking cow center, you see a lot of gates and a lot of boxes made out of metal and everything like that. But it is kind of weird. That's why I asked you the kind of the misconception idea of what a dairy farm is, because you do see the mechanism of getting cows in a certain area into position so they can be milked, and it does seem kind of mechanical, for lack of a better word. But I think the common misconception, what you just said, kind of cleared that up. Like, wow, these things are literally treated like humans from the time they're born until they reach that milking age.
Yeah, so the evolution of the dairy farm, it's changed dramatically. The last 30 years, all right, since we started the farm in Live Oak, our cows, when we started 30 years ago, were producing about 5 gallons of milk on the average. All right, now my expectation is the average production is 10 gallons. All right, and it's all about how we've improved our nutrition, our ability to take care of cows. So the cows enter a barn, and they have a sand-bedded stall that we groom or fluff twice
Chaise
a day.
lounge.
Yep, absolutely. They get their floors cleaned, the old feed's taken out, the fresh feed is put down. So when she leaves to go to the milking parlor, she comes back, she has everything except a minute on the pillow.
Do you have one that's single? Because my wife does none of that. Like, none of that. All she does is get her lashes and nails done. It's expensive.
So, but I would mention that the best cow on the farm is producing in excess of 15 gallons of milk
Wow.
a day.
Overachiever.
Yeah, really. And bragging about it, I'm sure.
There's a great resource for all of our listeners to go to, and that is floridadairyfarmers.com. And in it, you're going to meet not only farmers like Ed, but other farmers here in the state, and also some really great initiatives the Florida Dairy Farmers have going for kids in school and nutrition, Fuel Up to Play 60 Minutes, which is a great program, and all the stuff, and great recipes as well.
And speaking of that, we're actually giving milk away for a year.
Yes, you can
here
find
on the
that.
show. Go to ptkradio.com. You can also go to realradio.fm, find Primetime Kitchen there, and enter the contest. They'll tell you all the details there. But yeah, you could win milk for a year. How good is that? Look, when my kids were athletes, 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons a day was minimum, and that's not cheap considering, we were spending $200 a month on milk because, just like you said,
I don't think you're spending enough, but anyway.
You get out of here, greedy dairy farmers. I said it from the day one. Well, man, I have to tell you, this has been an absolute enlightenment. It really has. This has been such a unique experience talking to you about this, because like Heather said, we've never had a dairy farmer in. As kind of a message to people out there who do drink milk and everything here in Florida.
Me?
Yeah, right, liquid state. What is a tip you could give to somebody when it comes to buying and consuming milk and using it on a daily basis?
A tip that I would give them?
Yeah.
Buy 2. All right? No, conventional milk, it's very safe. All right. It's not like there is a dangerous milk out there.
It's pasteurized.
Right? Yeah, it's pasteurized, homogenized milk. Milk on our farm, and all farms for that matter, we treat our animals, and cows that get antibiotics and so forth, those cows are treated because they're sick, and we want to make them better. So we we segregate those animals and we put them into a hospital and we work on them until we heal them up, and then they return to normal health. We can put them back in the milking herd. That milk never enters the milk supply. So when you go to the grocery store, you can be rest assured that there's not any antibiotics in your milk. There's not any pesticides in your milk. I mean, it's a wholesome product. So products that are advertised as free of antibiotics, all right, that's a consumer gimmick. All right,
Yeah.
all the milk is safe to drink.
Right, that's awesome.
And I always say for home cooks, we always let the home cooks take away something from the show every week. But look for real dairy. There's a lot of faux dairy out there and stuff, but look for real pure dairy, and you can see it on the package, whether it's butter, whether it's anything. Just making sure you're buying a real dairy
Heather, where
product.
can people find you, and what you got coming up?
You can find me on the pages of Edible Orlando. You can find me at Heather's Florida Kitchen, which is on the WordPress platform. And I'm going to be cooking with my co-authors at Bach Gardens in November.
You love that spot.
We love it out
Go to
there.
ptkradio.com. You can find out more about that. We'll post up all the information. Also, don't forget, follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And if you want to see the cool video of Farmer Ed playing his trombone for his cows, we'll have that up at PTK Radio, either on the Facebook page or on the site as well. Ed, thank you so much for coming in. Brian, we appreciate it as well. You guys gave us some great information, and I'm sure people will be interested and kind of keep following up. We'll have you back soon to talk about how the farm is doing. All right, buddy?
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week right here on Primetime Kitchen.